Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and
We're quorum, yeah, we're quorum.
call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes, Osvaldo Lara, Guillermo Cavazos,
Present.
Andres Gonzalez,
Here.
Richard Perales, Pancho Avro,
Here.
José Luis Castillo, Javier Martinez,
Present.
José Gonzalez,
Present.
Richard Norton.
Present.
For the record, you do have quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Looking at the minutes from the last meeting, I'll let you have a few minutes to look over them.
I move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the meeting of
July 11th.
July 11th. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Reviewing what we have asked the staff to give us of the ones that are the pending BOA orders, the only one that I see, according to Anna, that we have outstanding right now is number 3 on the report, BOA 23-2017. It says that to postpone the update of the case pending review by the legal department. I think the review on that one was that they came in after, am I saying this correct? They came in, and I can't understand why. They came in after requesting approval, but they had already been, repeat that again.
This is a new construction. And let me pull the images from the house so that you can refresh of which case we're talking about. But this was a new construction and it did pass on all inspections from the building department. And then I'm assuming when they were gonna close on the property, they realized that there was an encroachment. So they came to the Board of Adjustment for a variance, but they did not get that variance. So I'm checking with the legal department and I emailed them and I'm waiting a response from them to see whether they are gonna revoke the certificate of occupancy or how they're gonna proceed, whether they're gonna start the legal action.
I'm asking the board
on them.
members, you recall, do you remember, was this the one where it was just moved a little bit, like it was not, when the plans were done,
Was this from the last
way,
meeting?
but when
No,
it was
this was
set, it was
from-
set on the property, like just a little bit off to where it was encroaching on one side by about a foot. I
Okay.
remember this.
This was from a year ago, from June 14.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know if you can see that. Can you guys see
14. Did we grant the variance at all?
No, the variance was not granted, but they did get all approvals from the building.
Well, see, that's what I understand, they got approval.
Without a variance from us?
Right. We denied the request,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, they've got a certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
And I think this was before we're now doing what we're
Follow-up.
doing here.
Uh-huh.
We're
Right.
following up.
Right,
Because now we need to make certain, and I remind staff, we need to make certain that if everybody involved in the process, meaning the people that grant the certificate of occupancy and everybody else, that they're aware of what's happening here, because if we deny something, they've got to make certain that they follow suit. Because if they issue a certificate of occupancy, then we have a whole new battle later on.
And there's probably somebody living there already.
There's like a miss shot there in communication or something with like, from you guys, I mean, I'm not putting the blame on you people, but I'm just saying, on the staff here, but like for the building department itself, they're the one that issued the certificate of occupancy, correct?
Right.
Okay,
correct.
so somewhere in there, there has to be some kind of checklist to make sure, especially when there's an issue where, whether it's 1 foot or 3 feet or 10 feet or whatever, that, you know, they were not approved for a variance. So like, in other words, what it says is the ordinance applies. And if you're encroaching, then we can't grant you a certificate of occupancy until you either get a variance or you make a change on the building.
And I think probably the best way on that would be to make certain that if you will visit with them, or if you want, we can visit with them, before they issue a certificate of occupancy, that they have a document from planning and zoning or building department stating that if they had requested a variance, it was either accepted or denied.
Okay.
So they either have to have one or the other. And if they don't have that, but they know that there was an issue with, that they had requested a variance, they should not issue a certificate of occupancy until they have in their files from you either something in writing, yea or nay.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, well, I just wanted to update on that one. Now, the last one, on 26-2017, the property owner has not corrected the structure and a citation has been issued again.
Which one is this?
Number 4 on the report, BOA 26-2017, page 4 of the. And that one, a citation has been reissued. Just remember on that one,
Not yet. He's gonna get more citations if it doesn't fix the problem.
okay, just remember that one of the things that we agreed on when we met with the
You know?
the whole staff that day was that we give them 30 days. After 30 days, if they do not do anything with that citation, we have to, and we're obligated to report it to legal.
Yes.
Then legal takes they take the issue at that
So
point.
basically, two very different processes are gonna happen, which is Edgar, the zoning officer, will keep citing them, and that is independent from the legal action that is gonna
Right.
be taken by the city.
Right,
So he's gonna
and-
keep citing them if they don't correct, but legal
But
department.
do
will
us
be
the
advised.
favor also, that if you refer it to legal, put it on here.
Okay.
Because if we keep seeing it there and something is not happening with legal, then we can follow up with legal and find out, hey, what's going on? Because this one has been in your desk for 30 days or 60 days or whatever, and we need to find out what's happening.
Okay.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
along those lines, so last month, we had a resident who had to take, part of that carport away. Do they have 30 days to do that only?
Yes.
Has
You have
that been
30
done?
days to take a permit for
Demolition?
demolition. Correct.
Has
They have
that,
30 days to get the issuance of the permit.
That's correct.
oh, okay. Have we issued a permit yet? Do we even know?
To be honest, I have not checked, but I will
Okay.
give you an update.
But we're
on-
following up on these
Yes.
too, that there,
Right.
there will be a follow-up next meeting or
Yeah,
something.
and
on
that
it.
one will come out on here next month.
Okay,
Because you'll let us know that they received the permit for demolition, or they've already demolished, or they have not received a permit for demolition and another citation has been, issued.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, moving on to bigger and better things. Our first item on the agenda is a request submitted by Hector Adame to authorize an exception to the literal interpretation of Laredo Land Development Code, section 24-77, entitled Dimensional Standards, by granting a variance to the setback requirements on Lot 37, Block 6, Kaladi Heights subdivision located at 3914 Shabram
You're looking at the
Drive.
wrong
What?
item.
Is that it?
No.
That's
It
the
is-
history of the other one.
Oh, was that the last one from last year?
That's for the minutes.
Is that,
For the minute,
with the minutes?
no?
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, you're reading the minutes.
No, that
Yes.
should be the,
The one that we're,
What
gonna
page is it?
cover
7.
today's Lot 2, Block 13, Freedom Park subdivision, Phase 4.
Freedom Park.
Read 7.
It's,
Page 7?
Oh, okay. All right, let me start over again. Request submitted by Juan F. Hurtado to authorize an exception to literal interpretation of Laredo Land Development Code, Section 2477, entitled Dimensional Standard by granting a variance to the setback requirements on Lot 2, Block 13, Freedom Park Subdivision, Phase 4, located at 826 Witherspoon Loop. Is there anybody here to speak on behalf?
Yes, I am.
Please approach the podium.
Say your name, please.
Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, sir, go ahead and state your name.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Juan F. Hurtado. I live on 826 Witherspoon. I've been in the Army since 1998. This is my current ID, my service-connected disability card. The reason why I'm presenting you this is so you can have a better understanding of my case. My house, 826 Witherspoon, the space to build the front is very, believe it's not even possible. I have one car garage. I'm still serving the military right now. And the most reasonable construction to do was to the side of the house, which I will use to storage my vehicles when I need to go on military training, which I just came back 4 o'clock this morning. Also, I'm a diagnosed with PTSD. I have 2 dogs, 2 Huskies dogs, which is Huskies, they're in cold weather. I also use that side of the roof so my dogs can go in and out when I have to go on for 2 days or 1 day, whatever I need to be gone. I'll do my training all the way to El Paso. When I have to leave for extended period of time, my brother, my niece come to the house, give some water to the dogs and everything, but I cannot leave them inside the cage in the house because it's too much time, or inside the house because they will destroy. Laredo is too hard for my 2 dogs. My 2 dogs help me to deal with my PTSD symptoms that I sometimes have, and that's the reason why I'm asking to let me have that. In addition to that, I know 2 wrongs don't make one right. There are some properties around Laredo South that, to me, they exceeded the picture. They exceeded if you allow me to present it, exceeded this standard, which I wasn't aware of due to that. A lot of years I've been in the military, living on post, on base, or an apartment complex, so I never had to deal with a construction of my house, which I own since 2006. Then I have to redeploy due to worker status. This is one of the houses that I found somewhere in the area. As you can see, it goes all the way to the side.
Mhm.
And then there's another one. This really got my attention. How it's on the wall. Same thing. That's another one that has all the way sitting on the wall, which is not the case on my property. That's another one that sits right there on the right on the side, which is, like I say, in my case, that's not the case. In my case, is not the case. The roof is within inside of the limitation of the property, and like I say, I know 2 wrongs don't make one right. But I'm just asking to be a little bit lenient and let me have this so I can secure my property when I have to leave in case a car, and also allow me for my dogs to be in and out because they will go out through the side door, and that way they can be inside the house when it's air conditioned and be able to go outside when it's their time to do their necessities. Since I cannot have anything to the front, and this, like I said, these dogs help me to deal with my PTSD symptoms that sometimes I have.
So the area on the side that you're proposing is actually, you're looking for it to be a carport?
Not too much of a carport. It will be I don't know how you call it, side roof.
Is there any way to reduce the amount? You're going from a 5-foot setback, which is really what it calls for.
Okay.
You're requesting to go to a 0-foot setback. And I know, speaking for myself on this board, I have a real problem going to 0 zero setback. You're going all the way to your property line. If you were to go some portion of that, it's a little bit more tolerable. Not saying that it would be accepted, but it's a little bit easier to understand rather than going all the way to zero. I did see the photos, and the photos are probably all what you said, going to zero setback, but we're not here to discuss those cases, we're here to discuss yours.
If we set back, I won't be able to use it as a side port to secure any of my property in case my vehicles, because the property to the side is not big enough to be able to set it back and allow to not even a mid-sized car to come in.
I think he's not asking you to make the thing smaller. He's asking you to move the roof in 5 feet, which would not affect the way you park your car or where your dogs could go outside. It'd still be covered. It just wouldn't be covered all the way to the lot line. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes.
See, so it wouldn't affect you because the floor would be the exact same size as it is now, so you could park your car there. The only difference is your dogs will have 5 feet less cover space.
Well, he can go to 2.5.
Yeah,
right?
that's what the building department allows for accessory structures on the side, 30 inches, 2.5.
That's what my question was earlier, on the side, it is allowed?
30 inches,
What?
30 inches, 2.5.
2.5 feet.
2.5 feet, 30 inches.
So you'd only have to cut back 2.5 feet.
No building permit was granted when he built
No,
this,
they
right?
work stop order.
I wasn't, like I said, due to, I actually never been in the house. I just recently came back about a year and a half ago, something like that. So I was living on some posts or apartments, complexes, so I never had to deal with a permit. I wasn't even aware
No.
I needed one.
Yeah.
But I requested one as soon as I was made aware of.
No, I understand. I mean, like, there's a big learning curve. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know that you need to obtain a building permit prior to constructing.
I know it's not an excuse, but
No, and like I say, I understand, a lot of people they just do it and they don't know, and like I say, no citation was,
No citation, they received a warning and a stop work order.
but after the structure had already been
That's
built,
correct.
correct? Okay,
It's-
okay,
so-
like, I mean,
so-
like, we honor your service, sir,
Thank you.
and that you're doing that, and we understand all that, and I think the chairman tried to make it clear, we understand that infractions have taken place in neighborhoods, some of them before a lot of these ordinances were created, some of them that people just did on their own. We're really not judging them. We can only judge the case that's in front of us. So like, we have to try to take it that way and work with you as best we can, but it's not a reflection just on you, okay? We understand the neighborhoods they're doing things they're not supposed to do in many cases, and sometimes they're here before us, and they say they
And
didn't
I
know.
understand that it might be before any
Yeah.
these laws were passed. I was just presenting the case
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Do we know what the width is from the house to the fence there? It looks more than the 5 feet.
I think it's 9,
Definitely
no?
more than 5 feet.
Well, that's what I was trying to determine from the,
I would assume it's gotta be more than 5. If you look at one picture there where the air conditioning unit is, those things are at least 2.5 feet.
That's gotta be 7, 8, 9 feet.
The
think it's
site
9
plan
feet.
says that it's 9 feet.
9
from-
feet, is that what that's
From
showing?
the house to the property line.
So if you reduced it to 6.5 from 9, you would be complying with the building code.
That means I need to demolish what is already done.
Not the whole thing. You would have to move the columns.
Yeah, you have to.
That would be,
Yeah.
So he would have to break concrete and move columns?
or
Or
just,
is there a way to do
or
supports
replace those
for
columns
the
on
rest
top
of
of
the
the
roof?
concrete.
With the existing columns? I don't know if that's possible.
Well, the whole roof
The
line would have
columns
to
can't
move.
be in the
The whole roof line would have to
in the
move.
setback either.
So, does anybody have any other questions? Mr. Hurtado, any other questions?
Is it right at 0 or is it into the neighbor's
right now,
property?
No, it is right at 0.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to go on record, thank you for your service.
Thanks, sir.
And we're going to close the public hearing and we'll make a decision in a moment, all right? Need a motion to close the public hearing?
That's so moved.
I have a motion and a second close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All right, staff, so, I mean, board, what do we think here?
Well, like you said, you know, at zero, it's something that we can't even contend with, you know.
See, I look at one of the pictures that is above there, and I see how close it is, that roof line with the other roof line next door. And it's hard for me to approach that, because I'm thinking that's a fire department, a fire hazard, with that roof line being so close. I would be inclined to accept, or, you know, to undertake a lesser amount than the requested amount if you all look at it. I mean, is there anybody comment on that?
Well, I mean, I would be as well. I mean, I don't know that that would accommodate, the applicant's, you know, desired, you know, use of that roofing there, like.
See, the problem
but
is,
I
I'm not really
understand
certain
that-
it
I
could
think
be
that
used
the,
as cardboard.
I think that, well, yeah, because I think that like we're, between yes and no on the request, I would be more willing to do.
Yes.
To, give, some kind of, opportunity for him to say, okay, I'm gonna have this many feet, I'm not gonna get to zero, but.
30 inches.
Was the intention that you had was to put a car in there or something, or what?
When necessary, and if I set everything back, I won't be able to use that at all.
Even like that, it seems very narrow to me for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can-
Yes, sir.
Can I say something about?
Go ahead, approach up here, sir.
State your name.
My name is Juan Felipe Gonzalez. The thing is that on the columns, if you move them, they're gonna be like, this already moved 1 feet. The 9 feet is not all the width that it has. So it's moves already 1 feet, the columns. So now it's 8. And from the side, it's moved another feet where the conta el portón. So you're talking about just 7 feet, the car just goes in like bien
Okay, but understand what we're trying to do here is, I think it's a consensus of the board, even though we have not voted on it. It's a consensus of this board normally, a zero setback is not acceptable. So we're trying to find a solution here. So between saying from zero and not authorizing it, or allowing something, our idea is to allow something. So, I mean, that's where we're going.
Nomás, quería decir eso, o sea, para que, como te doy que para moverlo y eso que están platicando, para que supieran más bien el exceso que hay.
Y entendemos eso muy bien.
I have a question for, go ahead.
I just don't understand. I don't see how you can get a car in there even as it sits now.
I know.
He's got an air-conditioned unit that sits out, what, 2-3 feet?
The air condition was moved farther back.
But the gate is right, the gate, on photo number 18,
Yes.
you could, I think that's the gate right here or the gate would be right up against this side, I
He's got
think.
that wood, I don't know what the hell that is.
I don't know if is that
Cabinet?
the gate?
That wood cabinet's
We
not
got
the gate.
gate on the front.
That's not the gate, that's a
Is that the
cabinet.
gate in the back, is that brown thing in the back or what?
It's an armoire.
Can we put this on there?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I just don't see how a car gets
Picture
in there
number
no matter
18 is
what.
the one I'm looking at.
Either way, as it stands now, I think he wants it for a car, for a patio for his
Right,
dogs.
is that where the yellow is right here in the very front?
Front and this
Is that the
rear.
gate right here?
That's to the
Yes,
rear.
The front of the property is this.
Where's the gate, on that side or on this side?
The gate is here.
Here on the bottom of
Okay.
the
Not the round
This is
page.
the gate,
So-
this is the rear.
That's rear.
The what?
The
This
rear.
is
That's
rear.
the rear of the.
The gate's on the backside over there? Well, that's the rear.
That's the
Yeah,
rear
this is
gate
the rear,
Okay,
this is the
so
front.
And
So
what's
the
that,
entrance would be on this side?
On the front.
yeah, what's that brown thing with it? Is that, what is that?
That's
A
the
cabinet?
furniture that's gonna go inside the house. Is
Oh, okay.
okay.
So it's not gonna be there.
It's not on the way. It's
Let me ask, what is the distance from the columns to the property line? For staff, it's for staff.
Un pie.
You see the side.
Because it has that 1 foot overhang.
And then the roof line looks like it's right on the property line.
Right,
Was it a foot? 12 inches? It's 12 inches.
1 foot. So then he would be requesting not to zero, I mean, from where the column line is, it's 1 foot from the property line?
Yes.
But the roof goes over to the property line.
Well, I'm like, what, could he demolish that, you know, and, I mean,
Same, you know.
and then we're saying like, well, he's 1 foot from
1
the
foot.
zero, you know, I mean, I'm just talking out loud, I'm not making a motion, but I wanted to know what the distance was from the column to
Yeah.
the property line, and if the actual demolition took place from
From the pole.
the pole, and then you kind of have, you know, you demolish that part, and then you finish it out right there where the column is. I don't know if that's possible.
You mentioned, sir, that you would not be able to put a car in there
If the columns are moved.
if,
but,
if the columns are moved.
Yes, but
And,
I,
and to be honest with you, those columns, in my opinion, would have to be moved because those are much too close to the property line, especially with the roof line. Move it up a little bit, Anna. The other way, the other way. So you can see the roof line right over the fence, and that is a zero setback, and that is not acceptable for this board.
will the members of the board allow me to demolish this part and keep it to the poles?
Well, 1 foot is still not acceptable. If you were to move them in, what was it, 2.5 feet?
2.5 feet, and you wouldn't have to come see us. You would be in compliance with the code.
2.5 feet would be in compliance with the code. The code allows you 50%, 50% de lo que piden.
Sí.
Y si son 5 pies lo que le están pidiendo, 2.5. Entonces, 2.5 de la cerca para adentro es lo que estamos viendo. Would that be something you could work with? Because I would not support a zero setback.
If I move it 2.5 back, no. If I have no option, I will have to. But bring it back 2.5, I won't be able to use it as a carport.
Well, I mean,
But I will do if.
but it would help you for your dogs, what you talked about. It would help for something, but you wouldn't be able to put your vehicles there. It would also cover your air conditioning unit out there.
Yes.
So, anyway, I need to move on that.
Go ahead.
I want to ask a question. Do it. If he takes the roof off and puts one of those tarps, have you seen those things, you know, the sunshades or
Yeah.
whatever they're called? I don't know what
Is
they're
that
called.
But those are
Andy,
temporary,
is that
considered
considered
temporary
temporary
structures, those
structure?
don't fall within the ordinance?
It depends on the type of.
Construction?
Yeah,
Well,
structure.
here's the construction. The roof's
What are
not
those
there, the
sunshades?
metal post is there, and the tarp goes from the roof to the metal post.
I think the problem will be the post, like the post is still encroaching.
That would be in code or would not be in code if it was no, it wouldn't be.
Well, it,
It's because of the
It's not
columns
wood.
coming up that hold up the tarp, or is that what it is?
yes.
Okay. Sometimes those tarps aren't L things, they're not actually columns that come to that property line. You know what I'm trying to say? Some of them, sometimes. Oh, okay. Mr. Chairman, I
I've
want to.
got one that's an L.
Yeah, right. I just want to say, like, okay, so for him to go up to 2.5 feet, he could have done that without coming to this board. If he had done that on through a building permit, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so when people come to us for a variance, it's because they're exceeding what the limits are. Is that correct? Okay, so like in my view, I would make a motion if you would be willing to cut back that 1 foot and just grant him a 1 foot variance, okay, so that he would not be zero. That would be my motion, okay, whether it gets a second or not, that's fine. I would do that because we have the authority to grant additional variance if the board so chooses, so I'm
But
individually doing that.
Clarify that because the columns are at 1 foot. The roof line.
Yes, he would have to go through a demolition permit, and he would have to go back with at least a setback of at least 1 foot. He would not be back to zero.
Where the columns are.
And I would always suggest that he put a rain gutter up there so that his water runoff, when it does rain, is not falling into his neighbor.
It is gonna have a rain.
Okay, very good. I mean, I'm just
It's
trying to
just
say,
that-
like, I'm trying to do what we can do. I'm
Yes,
just
thank
saying,
you.
on my case, that's what I would do. My motion is to do that.
And just to add, to that, I think the poles themselves, that they're made out of steel,
Uh-huh.
them being within the setback wouldn't be too much of a concern, I don't think. Well, at least when I was a building official, it wasn't much of a concern that there were steel or non-combustible items within the setback. So if they were to cantilever something or another from a metal pole to allow for that, I would.
In other words, leave the columns and cut the roof.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
I'll second.
I would be more amenable to something like that too.
Oh.
I think that Andy has a good idea.
Yeah, well, that would be my motion. I mean,
Because
yeah,
the fire, the drainage and the fire, to me, are the two big
right.
things.
Understanding though that,
Do the motion.
okay.
I did that in the
I have-
form of a motion.
Wait a minute, I have a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Is that,
Can
is
you
that,
repeat
I
it?
I second it, if that's
I have
what
a
we're talking
motion and a second. Okay.
You want me to repeat it?
No, no.
Well-
You want him to repeat it?
Yes.
Okay, well, my understanding is that these columns are 1 foot from the property line, okay? So that I would be willing to make this, I'm making this motion on the understanding that he would be willing to do the 1 foot demolition of the overhang that's there, so that everything comes back to that 1 foot level, you know what I'm saying? So that we're granting him up to 1 feet. That's really my motion. I understand Andy's recommendations that I may not have that expertise, but that's the essence of the
So
motion.
we'll be going to the, what we've discussed, about 2.5 feet then?
No, it'll actually be 9.
What
It'd be nine.
basically he's saying is to take this off right here, back to this line, back to the same line as these,
Columns.
Columns.
I mean, if there's structural issues with that, I don't know. I'm just saying, if that's possible to do that,
Yeah.
you know, if it's possible to do that, you know, then that, to me, is the best way to try to find a solution without having to
And
make
we-
this
and we
individual
did
tear
say
down
that,
everything that's there.
On this particular item, have we been, or any items for that matter, have we not been talking about allowing for the maximum of 2.5?
So what we had discussed that,
Yeah.
and what Board Member Martinez says here is that if we were to go back 2.5, really, he didn't have to come to this board. And while I understand that, it's still something that he has a structure that was up, and he had to come ask us to authorize it, so
Yes.
he would have had to come anyway.
Right.
The one thing is understanding that the roof line would have to be cut back, and there would have to be some type of
Drainage.
water,
Rain gutter.
Drainage?
rain gutter put on there. But, I mean, that motion's been made. I'm gonna call the,
Before we continue, Anna, is that possible to make a motion like that that's different from the request?
The board has done that previously.
Okay.
It's been procedure in the last few meetings that they table it and they come back with a different request,
the
but it's
the
up
one
to
thing,
you.
we have to be very careful though, when we do something like that, because it was my understanding before that if they came to ask for something, we could either deny it or accept it.
Yeah.
But then I was told, no, that we can go ahead and make it. The only thing you have to be very careful is that it was very clear in the approval document what it is that is being requested. So that there's no, no burden on the property owner, that if we approve something, that he knows exactly what it is.
Correct.
Okay.
I think, to be fair to the chairman, you're gonna have to go and submit a demolition permit, okay? To push that thing, the roof back, okay? You have to go through the procedure, submit your roof, she'll explain to you, okay? Now, you've already stated that you want to put a rain gutter up there, so that the runoff when it rains is not going into your neighbor's yard.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And if you members of the board approve that, I will gladly do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna call the motion. All those in favor signify by raise of hands, please. All those opposed? Let the record reflect, please. Those. All right, you got it.
Thank you, members.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
just please make certain that whatever it is that they give you, make certain you follow it, because they will be sending back an inspector to verify that, okay?
Okay.
And don't build without a permit in the future.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much,
Have a good
sir.
day.
Thank you.
Is there anything else to come?
That is all on the agenda.
That was the only item on the agenda. All those, having no further business, this meeting is adjourned.